Question: how do I actually use conferences as a way to actually write chapters of a book? So here's an example. We're all writing books wrong. We think of a book as basically a series of long lectures, right? But I think a better way of thinking of a book is snippets of knowledge. You can break them to pieces. For example, the books that I'm writing now, you state a question, then you state some kind of answer to the question. Then you give people some concrete actions they can take and some further reading. So here's an example of what I'm writing at this conference now, which is on CRO, conversion rate optimization. And you can think of this as people who are very interested in experimentation in a business context with a heavy European focus, which is why I'm up at this time of night, despite trying to get to sleep at 10 o'clock. So what I'm trying to do is come up with questions that someone in this conference has and formulate it in words that they understand, where the answer to that question is something that's contained in one of the 80 papers I've read. Sometimes it's actually a single paper, can lead to 20 or 100 of these question answer pairs. So what's an example? I start off by saying what I think an idea for the question would be. Then I try and explain what I do, and then I go back and forth in conversation with someone here, because they've got expertise in the things they care about and the language they use, so they can share that. So as an example, I think that one question that the papers we published or the exercise we've won can be relevant to is, wait for it, how can we build a culture of experimentation by giving people simple tools for them to almost play an experimentation game? So instead of thinking they've got to design an experiment, run it with 10,000 users, yes, that's great. That's the ideal. That's what scientists, push towards. But also, if you got a team with someone in marketing, with some kind of high level, C-suite level person, what about actually a tool, a system that actually lets you just go in and start experimenting on the emails you're writing to your colleagues? It lets you experiment on the text that you're going to send. And so this tool, right, is called abscribe, and you can see it on our website. It was published as a rigorous scientific paper. 3 reviewers said this was worth publishing, right, after hundreds of hours of work. And it's kind of in a form where now everyone can access it. It's been evaluated in a more rigorous way. One of the 20 things it does is it lets you open up abscribe.app, no, abscribeapp.com, I think. Just go to the URL tiny.cc. You all know my tiny.cc's. tiny.cc/abscribe. Has a paper, has videos, and contact Mohi Reza and Nathan Laundry, my PhD students, if there are any issues with it. They'll be happy to help. So what could you use it for? Well, let's give a concrete example. So I'll say the question again. Question: how could you use an abscribe app, the abscribe app, to help people get in the habit of building a culture of experimentation on something as simple as emails or website copy, where they think through alternatives and evaluate them heuristically in their head or qualitatively, with the goal of anyone in the organization getting excited about experimentation? Well, here's an example. You go into that app, and then you might actually copy some content from your website. Take your existing homepage, copy it, and then what you do is you actually define small adaptive components. We call them adapt comps. And these are going to be what you're going to experiment with. So for example, let's take my homepage, right? Well, let me go and find my homepage right now. One second, BRB. Okay, so I put my website, right? Here it is. So there's the website. So now ask yourself, here's some copy, right? How are we going to rewrite this? Well, here's the abscribe way. Here's the way my lab was pioneered, right? We started working this year in 2024, but I would say we already pioneered this push since 2017. 2015 when I was at Harvard. So take a piece of this text and make it like a little adapt comp, an adaptive component. Let me show you what that means. abscribe does this. So here's abscribe. I went to tiny.cc abscribe, or I googled abscribe, and it's read the paper or try abscribe here, right? It's on a mobile, which is not really built for. I'm not really even built for trying to copy paste this stuff while on 2 different phones. Okay, my hand's getting tired, so I'll just show you quickly. So you paste into the abscribe, right? And then what you do is you select a bit of text. For example, Joseph's Intelligent Adaptive Intervention Lab explores. Now you select that text and then you actually make multiple versions of it. This is where the qualitative A/B testing comes in. You make versions and then you can actually switch back and forth between them to kind of think through, how would this look to my user? How would it look to a first-time user, a many-time user, a user in statistics, a user who's a marketing person? And you kind of flip back and forth. So it's kind of a tool that essentially lets you, with any programming, just click on that and define different versions, and then you can switch back and forth between them really easily. Do you all see how that helps you easily prototype and then represent things in a way that you can think through them carefully? Second, it uses LLMs. So you could actually select that text and say, give me a version of this that's exciting, that gets people dying to read more. Give me a version of this that is written for someone who's got business experience and has no idea what science is all about. Give me a version of this for someone who's got a lot of time to read, versus give me one that's for someone with very little time to read. So then you basically combine with a tree of all these options, right? But that's just the first seed you planted. You might then say, let's actually take this, right? And select the first bit of text. So how can you turn end user interface into an intelligent, perpetually improving system? So you say, that's AdaptComp number 2. We call it an AdaptComp because it's an adaptive component. You can change it through A/B testing, through manual rules, through personalization. It's like an AdaptComp because you can change it over time. And now you can see you've actually got this whole way of taking a bit of text as simple as your website, making multiple versions, and then comparing them back and forth. In your own head, you can kind of go through the tree for AdaptComp 1, that sentence, the tree for AdaptComp 2. How do they fit together? What works, what doesn't? Now, here's what's great about this. You have now got a little tool, a little game for the experimentation game. Build a culture of experimentation by showing people in your organization, whether it's marketing people, whether it's, some random accountant, whether it's people who are software developers, how easy it is to experiment on even something like writing emails. Get them excited, get them having opinions, hypotheses. And then this kind of shows them how, even before you run an experiment, the alternative ways of communicating. You might wonder which is more effective. Who's it more effective for? Can you get some evidence about this? So think of this as actually a way to democratize, so anyone can start experimenting like within seconds on anything, website copy, emails, text, and it helps them think through what's involved. How do I come up with these different ideas? How do I measure them? How confident should I be if one data point says that this is better or worse? What is it better or worse for? Why might it be better or worse? So what do you all take away? This is a lot. What do you all take away from this? How do you tell someone else what this is about and why it's interesting? What's one thing you did from the after? Would you go to tiny.cc abscribe and read about this? Would you try to think actually how you can apply this kind of process to getting someone to walk through a concrete example? Would you ask me to come and give a talk on this or join the webinar? I'll give a webinar on Monday, and I'll give one actually every couple of weeks until this book is written. The first book is written. There's another one that's in progress, but this one is focused a bit more on taking the scientific papers we've done and spelling them out for people who are in industry A/B experimentation, like people like you. So yeah, what can we tell someone else who's interesting about this? What's one thing you would do next?